I think we're ready to roll, I think.
Perfect. All right. So hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to our Multidimensional Monday. And as always, we're really delighted to be here with all of you. And if you're connecting with us for the first time, my name is Alicia with my mom, Eva. We are co-creatresses of Krystalline Ascension with our galactic sister, Trudy from White Star Soul Guidance. And if you're catching the live on Facebook or here on Zoom with us, please do say hello in the comments again if you missed that introduction. And a warm welcome to those of you who are watching the replay. Please do hashtag replay so that way we can come back, circle around later and say hello to you as well. So hi, Jenny. So each Monday, we'll be here live sharing our multidimensional experiences, stories, earthly musings, as living as a multidimensional being in a human body and how we're bridging those two together. And this week's topic is about embodiment practices and ones that are unique to us and the importance of embodiment.
So I'm going to get started by asking, what do you think embodiment means? So if you guys want to type into the comments what you think embodiment is, because I must admit, embodiment was a term that took me a long time to grasp. It seems like the thing we should all know about, and yet everybody has a completely different interpretation. This is the thing with all the things we're discussing, is that everything has a different interpretation. And it's only when you ask other people, you find out what they think about it, which is why us three are describing it how it appears to us. So for me, embodiment is a feeling in my body, not a thought in my head. And as a dance teacher, I noticed the same, that people would like learn moves by memorizing them as opposed to feeling them. Or we talk about being in a certain state, a spiritual state, but actually we're thinking it, not being it. So if I ask you now, do you feel relaxed? Then your mind might instantly say yes, but give your mind a break for a moment and just sense into your body and notice if your body actually is relaxed. Notice if you have any tension and see if there's a difference between the answer that your head gave, which was yes, and the physical feelings in your body as your neck tenses, you're finding you're clenching your wrists, your fists or something. That's the difference between embodiment and thought. We might think a certain state, but whether our body agrees with us, then that's how you know if you're embodying a certain state. So here are 4 reasons why you might find embodiment important in your life. So the first one is about manifestation. The second one is about visualizing solutions to problems. The third one is going to be about using your body intelligence. And the fourth one about ascending power and descending power, which is that kind of receiving new light codes. So the first one is when you're doing your manifestation statements, or even if you're working with affirmation statements, what I find is that, again, we make these things in our head, but we don't check in with our body to see if we're fully aligned. And if we're not careful, we'll end up lying to our bodies by saying I'm safe when our body really doesn't feel safe. So embodiment is the ability to check in with your physical body and check if the statement you're saying is true. And if not, finding a way so that your body does feel safe, so it's in alignment with the statement. So simply coming up with manifestation statements or affirmations on their own, often if they're not working, it's because your body isn't vibrationally aligned with the intention that you're trying to create. So have you experienced that ever, where you've kind of tried to repeat yourself 100 times and you feel a certain way when you know you don't, and actually it makes you feel worse than better? So put something into the comments, maybe say, vibrational alignment's a big sentence to type into the comments, but maybe VA, type VA in if you've got vibrational alignment issues.
Yes, and back to your other question in regards to what the meaning of, I think you had asked what the meaning of embodiment is. Mm-hmm. Angela wrote on Facebook, grounding into our physical being.
Nice.
Lillian wrote, being aware of what is happening within your own body, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And Will wrote, we own the experience fully in the presence.
Cool. So I've got, I think Angela's saying for sure as the manifestation and vibration alignment one. So I'll let you guys keep answering, because on Facebook it takes a few minutes longer to get the answers. And I'll go on to the second reason why we do it. So the second reason to be focused on embodiment is because how many times have we been in like a daydream where we've visualized and seen everything happening in our lives exactly as it should? We see the people we're meeting, the projects working, and then we wake up and go back to our normal lives and do nothing. So this is kind of like the dreaming it and weaving it into the quantum space, but actually not taking any action. And Ava's going to talk on this later, so you'll get more of an insight on that. But how many of you find yourselves doing that? And you might call it being stuck in daydreaming, or you might just feel the, when you've had the visualization, you might not feel like it's real enough or worthy enough to actually do any action on. So that would be an embodiment reason as well. The embodiment is you've been given that gift for a reason. Grab it with both hands, now go do something with it. So who's had that kind of issue? The third one is that if you're not in your body, then you're kind of losing out on probably a third of your intelligence. Your body has an intelligence in the DNA from your ancestors and the muscles. Kinesiology is a great way of proving all of this. And through muscle testing, and we use body testing in the work that we do, but through muscle testing, what you can find is there are truths hidden deep in your body. This is when we start really sensing that what we think and what our body thinks are two different aspects. So I don't know how many of you guys have done kinesiology, but let me know in the comments if you have. And the simple one that we use is a very simple body test where I allow my body to tip forward for a yes and back for a no. So I'm using that without thinking. I sort of pick up different foods is a great way to try it. And then holding the food, my body will tell me if it wants that food or if it doesn't. And this is a muscle we've had because when you meet somebody you like, you tip forward. And when you meet somebody you don't like, you lean back. It's there, we've all got it, but we just don't work with it and we don't use it. So this body intelligence can really change your life. I remember being at a spiritual event and they sat us down and said, if there's one thing I'm going to teach you, it's going to change your spiritual experience. And it was body testing. And I just remember thinking, wow, I did not see that one coming. Mm-hmm. So it really does help because it helps us validate a lot of our experiences by feeling it into the body. So some other aspects to play with, other techniques, embodiment techniques are head, heart, and gut. When we ask our head something, we ask our heart something, we ask our gut, you can get different answers. And that can help us balance out what our higher self is telling us. So if you think about tuning into your head, heart, and gut, obviously any trauma, any issues you might have had, like if you've got a lot of heartache, your heart might actually give you answers that are not in your highest truth, but then you've got your higher self giving you insights. If your gut is in a very fearful from trauma from when you were younger, then that's going to give you different answers too. And again, you've got your higher self. So when you take all of these and make them like little people, I imagine them sitting around a table having a conversation, then you find you've got a much more balanced view of life and you can make much more empowered decisions than if you didn't use all of this. And all of these so far, if you're not able to get really into your body, you're not able to gain the advantages that I'm talking about here. So who's seen body testing or head, heart, gut? Who uses those techniques?
Susie's in here going back to the question. VA, mantras don't work if just said and not felt. I'm not too sure what Lily was answering to, but at times, yes, I've done. I'm assuming that was to your second one, and work with muscle testing for years. Angela online, I like to wait for my sacral authority to let me know when to take action. And yes, love muscle testing with my ring finger, use it daily.
So interesting thing with the ring finger is that if you switch onto your full body rather than that, your body starts doing it when you're out and about. You don't have to think, I must body test this. I can walk through, say, a supermarket and suddenly my body will tip forward and I'll just back up and see what it was it wanted. It's kind of like I have this extra communication. I don't stop and say, do I need this? My body just tips and I have to go, okay, my body wants to tell me something. I need to back up here and find out what that is. And I think that's when the body muscle starts working, it takes the experience into a whole new level.
Yeah.
You saw something, Ava?
It was from Will. I can sense when I am triggered or framing an answer by a fluttery chest. I have had reflexology work done before, but yes, I am tuning in more when I am unsure.
Excellent. We're all understanding embodiment really well here. That's fantastic, because a lot of people, I think, still have to, like, there's obviously everything we're talking about, there's always layers, there's always more to learn. Even for us, we're always learning more. So the last reason for embodiment is to do with ascending power and descending power. And this is to do with the light waves and the codes and templates that have been coming through recently. There's been quite a lot of them. So if you can't bring that down properly into your physical body, then you will feel ascension symptoms and you'll struggle. And this can leave your body sort of left behind in the whole process. So think of ascending power as shifting your frequency and accessing inspiration and higher wisdom. And think of descending power as the creation, manifestation, and bringing it down onto the earth to birth it into the 3D world that you live in. And that leads me nicely into handing over to Alicia, who's going to talk more about ascension symptoms.
Perfect, then. Thank you. So I'm going to speak into possible physical symptoms, possible changes to your psychic senses, and obviously all possible desires of wanting to stay in the ethers. So I'm going to begin with number one. Let's start with the possible physical symptoms. And so I'm curious to know, if you want to let me know in the comments, who here is feeling or experiencing the incoming high frequency rays and activations as it makes its way into our physical body and our human existence at this time. And by all means, I'm not a doctor, so please do receive assistance when you feel you need to do so. But do share what you're experiencing from the high frequencies and activations and your levels. Is it little? Is it extreme? So is there dizziness, headaches, back pain, sleeping extra, crying for no reason, or even having those chest discomforts with those deep heart flutters, or maybe you're experiencing the opposite, which could be that high energy, feeling the bliss, laughing for no reason. So Lillian's saying feeling them all the time, such as headaches, ringing in the ears, and it can be extreme. Yeah, I did notice that too. So everyone is feeling it as well. Number two, what about your psychic abilities? Have you noticed any changes to those? Or maybe it's your clairs that are opening up hugely. Maybe you're attuning to different sound frequencies or seeing more deeply into yourself or into others, or even feeling your cells vibrating. I know that comes to me quite often when I know I'm expanding. I can literally feel my cells inside vibrating inside, even though there's nothing vibrating, nothing moving on the outside of my skin, but I can feel everything inside moving within my body. So just want to see if you feel that too. And is there anything new that you have been experiencing that you haven't felt before? I think that's important to know that. As I know for me, I've been experiencing these energies more and more on a deeper level, and it's very super powerful having to experience these so-called ascension symptoms.
So we've got Angela answered your previous questions: dizzy, neck, shoulder ache, and other emotional thoughts. And yes, energy moving to this question. Okay. What have you got, Eva?
We have here, let me just get to the chat.
So the interesting thing is, I think for this particular, well, maybe this particular time is, I think we're in uncharted territory about some stuff like this. It's new to us all. And I think it's important to share and to talk to each other about it, because it's really hard between COVID and between ascension symptoms and between real health issues. It's really hard to kind of work your way through it all. So it's really important to talk to somebody about all of this, I think, whether it's your doctor, whether it's friends, just keep the communication lines open.
Yeah, Susie here it makes me dizzy, out of body, like I am in a film, sleeping less, crying. All in all, it's not enjoyable, but I know the veil is thin, especially today, and it is easier to connect to source. You're so right. Lillian, having more clarity with the messages I receive. Susie, again, I can hear my guides in a way I never have before. They keep saying, give it to us, Susie. Keep giving it to us. Wonderful. And Lillian, I have been experiencing clear visions, which never had before. Awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Angela's saying downloads coming into the crown on both sides. So.
Yes. So everyone's experiencing these ascension symptoms and these new experiences on a deeper level, as well as for myself. So even the other day, I was just letting Trudy and Eva know that I was just even hearing other words being said when they weren't even saying that. I thought my daughter had said the animal, the word bat, and she actually had said donkey. So that was a huge difference. I don't know where that came from, but that happened 2 times yesterday when I'm hearing something totally different. So I don't know, tapping into other dimensions there. So, but the third point I want to talk to you about is wanting to stay in the ethers. And is there anyone here who is getting stuck in those repetitive desires of just wanting to be in the ethers and not tuning into the physical body as much, which therefore is creating that disharmony? And what are you doing about this? I do feel for myself that I used to do this quite often. I used to want to stay in the ethers and not feel into my body. But the more that I'm embodying and the more that I'm tuning into my body in these last few years, I'm having that awareness that the quicker I embody the light, the quicker the symptoms dissolve. So for me, I tune into my body to see what's happening. And I've noticed that I can feel that huge expansion on multiple layers of my being, as though my energy is way out here. And if I look around, let me know if I'm making sense here. I'm tuning into each layer of these energetic fields simultaneously. So it comes off as this very expansive feeling, and it leaves me in a state where I can't focus. My head is very painful. So I'm learning to navigate this new sense of expansion and decipher which dimension or layer that I'm actually tuning into and what I need to understand so I can embody this on a deeper level into my physical body. But I've noticed too on a mass level that these physical manifestations of frequencies are trying to integrate into our physical bodies. And one, they can come in many different forms. Two, they can be experienced on many different levels. And three, you can receive more than one at the same time. So whoever said ascension was easy, right? It's definitely not. It's definitely not that light and fluffy. It's deep and at times very overwhelming or painful as we go through that process of shifting, evolving, and ascending, or as some say, descension, as Trudy was talking about, for descending into those higher consciousness forms, bringing those into that here and the now. So this is where the importance of embodiment comes in for me, because this is where we create that fluent, let's call it glue, within the whole body to hold the higher consciousness frequencies here in our current reality and within the body. But at the same time, I do feel that these higher frequencies can get stuck or blocked in trying to make its way into your fields and being blocked into absorbing into the glue or into your physical body. And even if it does make its way in, holding that new light in your body can cause that severe pain or other ascension symptoms on a deeper level for a longer period of time. So if you're not embodying it, meaning it's not flowing within, this glue within you is not flowing, glue or plasma light. It may work, it may come into that glue, but your glue becomes hard and solid. So if you just want to let me know if you're feeling this as well. Is there any comments? If not.
Angela said that I think this is related to the psychic sort of downloads. Saw a huge scorpion on her left arm in a dream, squeezing it tighter. And yes, she feels expanding, feels so uncomfortable and trying not to resist it.
And Lillian makes total sense. I think that was what you were talking about earlier. Will said, I used to want to be in the ether more, but I bought a certain Earth Star chakra crystal. But yes, the ability to tune in without the need for a material object to bring the earthing would be preferable. Susie, and I went to see my doctor today as have a chest infection, and his check is my body is absolutely fine, even though I know I'm going through something and don't feel well. I find being in the world is quite painful. Feeling into my body, it's so naked. So it is a real discipline at the moment. To share today is so good. Knowing I am not going mad and alone, you're not alone. Descending into the higher conscious forms. Wow, this is not for the faint-hearted. Absolutely, this is so much truth there. And Lillian says, I feel I'm in need of grounding more. Yes.
Yeah. And how many times have I been to the doctor with symptoms that are very, very obvious, and they say, you're fine, go home. And I'm like, I don't feel so fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you can see, embodiment is very important part of our spiritual work, as same goes for when we facilitate in the energetic fields for others in the ethers. We share multiple embodiment techniques in order for you to embody it and for that this glue is flowing beautifully within. As Trudy, Eva, and I are very all passionate about embodiment in bringing these energetic and etheric shifts, these cosmic frequencies and higher aspects into your physical body embody into your human existence, and for you to experience that multidimensional expansion each time, but on a deeper level. So do let me know in the comments if there's anyone else here experiencing kind of like that unknown cause of pain through their ascension process. And if you're experiencing that pain, just tuning into it and asking it if you're releasing from that area or if you're trying to embody new light. And for now, I'll leave that to Eva to speak more into her shares there.
Perfect. All right. So my favorite embodiment advice is rather quite easy. Just do it. Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. And this is something I learned through my last 15 years, where I used to be so spiritual that I couldn't do anything practical, right? So I had to learn to be more practical in the most simplest way. When I learn a new skill or receive a new insight, I asked, how can I weave it into my life and my work, my courses, my client sessions, and to who I am? My biggest embodiment lesson was about taking all the learning out of my head and turning it into actual physical action, rather than just collecting it and storing it in my head. In the past, I wasn't good at this at all, and this is how it showed up for me. I didn't embody, meaning I didn't do anything really, because I was working and trying to do the business at the same time, and I really felt I wasn't doing anything with the skills that I learned from the courses, the mentoring, and that had a really huge impact on my life's emotional and financial cost. It costed me well over 6 figures in mentoring, getting coaches and programs, and then I did nothing. And it took me that much to figure out that nobody was really teaching the embodiment with their courses. They were just saying, invest, and then you shall receive, right? And then you'll grow. But without embodiment, I was moving forward at a pace that is parallel to like a snail-like motion. Right? It was while completing my soul realignment through the Akashic Records that I learned the importance of the embodiment action. I learned that when one does not actively participate in their skills and their teaching, one can actually fall into deeper droughts of lack. And that's where it was. It was such an awakening just to hear that little 2 sentences that I was taught that I'd never received in the last 15 years from anybody else. So it is through recognizing our gifts and transmuting our teachings and our knowledge to create wisdom in a significant part of becoming abundant. Imagine if I had been given all these gifts, being asked to remember my abilities, and instead I really did nothing with them. Where have you given your energy, your money, your time to a product, a program, a service, but you didn't allow yourself to receive the exchange? No judgment, as until we are aware of this importance, we just don't know. You purchase it without perhaps a belief that you invest in yourself, your life will change, but without the action, it really doesn't.
Yeah, excellent. So who's got that? Who's got that kind of experience? I think it's a kind of light worker thing. We get so many downloads that we don't embody. But I think everybody should have at least one example of some amazing idea that they got and didn't do anything with it, or didn't think they were like, it wasn't in alignment with what they were taught, therefore it can't be right. Anything like that you guys have got, share in the comments.
Yeah, Susie sharing, this is why you three come together, I feel. Thank you. To help us all to integrate and be in this world without being ridiculous, old victims, spiritual, BS, and weird. This is mastery. Yes, it is. Actual mastery. Love this, Susie. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
and we all have something to contribute to this. Well, Angela's asking which gemstone you were mentioning, if you'd like to comment on, reply to her comment on Facebook after this. So yes, been there, done that from Angela. Anything else coming through?
That's it for now that I see.
So I'm just going to go on to my section. So we were talking about embodiment in terms of, like, as spiritual beings, it's very hard to keep the two integrated. I think that's what we're here to learn, heaven on earth, that bringing that spiritual knowledge, but keeping it in our everyday behaviors. So while I'm washing the dishes, I'm still spiritual. While I'm out there writing a business plan, I'm still spiritual. When I'm doing my emails, offering my offerings, I'm still spiritual. And I know a lot of light workers kind of think that earning money is like a negative thing, but if we are meant to do the work we're meant to do, we need funding to do that. And energy of money is the funding that we need. So it's getting to that point of realizing that we need to be able to ask for money, we need to be able to process money, we need to be able to spend the money on our business and act like business owners as well as light workers. So what I want us to do today is a simple little exercise that I've been running with different people out of curiosity. So when I was taught my spiritual behavior, I was told to follow the silver thread at the top of my head and then connect to my higher consciousness, which I used to do. But for me, as somebody who didn't want to be in a physical body, that was a little bit like escapism. I was quite happy to go up there, but don't ask me to come back. You'd have to kind of literally tug that silver string and pull me back down. And then I learned to go in through the heart. So the first time I learned about the heart was through some Kuan Yin teachings of the threefold flame in the heart. And I didn't know much about it, but I did feel a little bit more grounded. And more recently, I learned that you could go through a pearl in the center of the heart, actually step into that final bit and step into your higher consciousness that way. And for me, it was like being slapped across the face. Suddenly, I was in my spiritual self and my human self at the same time. So I wanted to try a little experiment with you now. So if you all take a nice deep breath and concentrate on your breathing. So we haven't got much time to bring you into this now. So just sort of bring yourself into your body. And the first thing I'll ask you to do is to follow the silver thread from the top of your head and go up into the higher self. And see what that feels like we're talking embodiment now. So follow the silver thread up, find yourself in your higher dimensions, whether that's sitting on a cloud or a planet looking down or just looking around, and just get a feeling for what that feels like. So remember noticing into your body, not your mind, into your body, what it feels like in your body. Does your body feel like you're still present, or does it feel like you've left? Now come back down that silver thread, and this time go into the heart, open up the lotus flower, step through the pearl and onto a platform to the universe within. And as you stand there looking at that same cosmic landscape of your inner self, the vastness of who you are, all of your lifetimes, all of your experiences are there. How does that now feel in your body? Do you find that you're sort of feeling like it's coming more from your core, from your center, and that you're actually now inside you and present at the same time? Now, for me, this made me feel more grounded when I was doing spiritual work. And that to me is a good representation of what grounding means to me. So all the roots, it didn't matter how many roots I put down into the ground. If I went up that silver thread, I still left. Whereas as soon as I went through the heart, I instantly felt more grounded. So how did that feel to you guys? So Angela's saying yes, feels more anchored.
Going through the heart is best for me, Lillian says here on Zoom. Yeah.
And the thing is, we all assume we experience this the same way. But when we three talked about this too, we discovered that, yeah, it did make a difference. And we hadn't even realized that people could do this any differently to what we thought we were doing it. So many people would be like new people learning this kind of skill set that would follow the silver thread, would go off and leave their bodies, and they wouldn't even know that they'd left their bodies, and that wasn't the way it was supposed to be done. So I was quite interested in then anchoring into the heart as that experience for grounding. And it's, to me, the grounding kind of the roots as well was the same kind of issue. To me, it felt like I would almost grasp at the earth with roots to hold on to my body so I could go up that silver thread and leave. And now I'm finding, because I've gone through my heart and I'm more anchored, when I put the roots out, it's more playful. My roots are kind of like searching out nutrients and water and all the fun things. And I can kind of like dance with them and move with them. And it's a completely different experience. It's almost like I feel supported on the earth, and within me, I have this vastness of who I am at the same time. So I can see, yes, more anchored. I don't think anybody else has passed any comments here.
Yes, both here and in my higher self too, both. Isn't this what we are designed to do? To incarnate here and be embodied, embody.
Exactly. But the thing is, we don't talk about it, then we don't know if we've achieved it enough, because it's like anything to do with bodies. Even in dancing, what people see and how they interpret what they see into a physical movement is not the same as somehow, how do you actually show somebody what this feels like? You can't. And that's why I love visualizations to a certain degree, because they help you tune into certain frequencies that we didn't know before. So Alicia's got a technique now to share.
Yes, Okay, so I know we're running out of quick time, but there's just so much to share with embodiment. So I'm going to quickly share one embodiment technique that is unique to me through an example. So recently, a beautiful soul came to me sharing that they had pain in their bones and that this high frequency light was actually dissolving the bones versus rejuvenating them. So I'm just going to ask you to sense into your bones at this time and just see if you resonate with this. So during this session, I discovered that this was a high frequency Arcturian light, but because this galactic light is so potent to the human bones, it is resulting in much pain in the bones to hold, as it wasn't flowing throughout the bones and into the whole body. So again, I'm just going to ask you, do you sense light in your bones as well? And do you feel that it's stagnant or hard, like that glue metaphor? Is it fluid glue? Or is it hard as rock and not flowing throughout your bones? So if you'd like to tune in to see if you feel that you have old architecture also within the bones or anywhere that needs upgrading. So just asking, do I have old architecture within my bones that needs upgrading? You can use body testing for this and just let me know in the comments if you're feeling this and you're resonating with this as well. But for me, as that divine seeker of architecture and the hidden languages, I tuned in further and I see that the sacred light architecture in the bones are not supporting this movement and flow. So in order for the light to flow throughout the bones, I can create new architecture, and which I'm enabling them to embody this light into their bones, into the body, allowing them to hold this beautiful galactic frequency in a way to be rejuvenated by the light versus deteriorating the human bones. Okay, so Will says very interesting. Jenny says body says no. Lillian says yes, I do. Okay, all right then. But as you can see here, I love upgrading the sacred temple of light, which is your body. So if you're tuning in that you do have old architecture or needing that upgrading to embody these new waves of light that is coming in now, which is sort of new to our bodies, even though that this is very ancient and galactic, I do invite you to just get in touch with me so I'm able to support you, or you're able to support yourself with your ever evolving human self. And do let me know in the comments if you can see the importance of embodiments, or if you have a new perspective of why embodiment is important. And then I can.
Angela says, today feeling lighter, grateful for the healings and colloidal gold, and now practicing embodiment techniques. I love, did I say that right? Colloidal, yeah, colloidal gold. I love colloidal gold. I think that's a great way to embody abundance.
Yeah. All right. So my simple process that I have been practicing in the last several months has been quite successful. Is really, if you want to go along as I say it, just put your hands over your heart and really tune into the heartbeat. You could close your eyes and feel the heartbeat under your hands and begin reciting things like, I am safe now. Which organ or part of your body needs to feel safe? And bring your focus here and say, welcome. I am safe here and now. And I allow it to expand within your entire body. Becoming so present that all stress and worry evaporates. Just imagine a blue light coming in from the top of your head, and it easily flows through the crown chakra, and it touches the top of your nervous system. And it flows down through the nervous system, cooling and calming. And again, imagine this blue light expanding within the nervous system and out through your body and into the universe. Can you feel the calm within you, as well as the calm around your physical body? So embodiment is bringing awareness to all the sensations in our physical bodies. Notice how each of these statements made you feel right down within yourself by asking, what do you feel inside of your body? Is there any tightness or tension? And it may promote you to stretch your body. You may be called to take a nap. You may be called to eat, as you may have forgotten to nurture your body. So embodiment is within rather than the old paradigm of searching outside of ourselves. You may be feeling the uncertainty around you, but the more embodied you are, the more access to your own internal compass, it will help you to move through these trying times. So let's come back into our body and let me know if anything resonated with you here.
So even things like journaling, typing, sharing, speaking are all embodiment actions. So everything you guys are doing today is part of that embodiment. You're putting words and expression and music and art onto feelings is all that embodiment, which is great.
Lillian, the whole process you went through resonated completely with my body. Wonderful.
Yes, felt an expansion from Angela. Excellent. So we've just got one small section left, if you guys are willing to bear with us a few more minutes. And the last section we wanted to talk was our favorite embodiment practices. So back in 2019, I was a dance teacher, not doing as much as my spiritual work. And then I got this huge voice in my head that says, you need to merge your spiritual work and your dancing. So I came up with what I call dancing with energy, which is a set of moves that I feel activates and moves energy through the body and helps us integrate them. And lo and behold, I discovered Alicia and Eva love embodiment too. So it's even like another connection point for me, which is so exciting because often you have to kind of choose who you talk about what with, but here we talk about everything. So what I found is when this movement was happening, we could either generate energy in our body or we could move stagnant energy. And the movements didn't make much sense to me. There were moves I'd learned through dance. And then suddenly on our retreat just a couple of weeks ago, we were going, we need to embody this. And then I had moves that fitted the kind of embodiment that we were needing. It was almost like they were designed to slot together at that one perfect time. I just remember being in so much awe that that's why that works. Because often, you guys, you get messages and you think, that seems stupid, but I've been told to do it, so I'll do it anyways, what I took the approach. And then I discovered afterwards the power behind it. So that's why you always have to take action, doesn't matter what you're given, because you'll learn more about it when you do it. So that's my dancing with energy that I would recommend. And if we've got a quick minute, just a very simple example. If you wrap your arms around your shoulders and stretch your back, so really think about stretching these muscles, so like you're hugging down on yourself. And then to the opposite, where you push your shoulders back and really stretch your chest. Let your head tip back gently. And then do the same again, bring your shoulders forward and really stretching across your back. Can you work out which chakra this is working on? Can you feel your heart opening and expanding? And I love doing this in the daylight so that when I kind of hug myself is my kind of gratitude to my human body. And then I open my chest and let the sunlight come in. So that's an example of a dancing with energy kind of move that we do.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love all your dancing with energy that we a little bit of peeks about it anyways. And Eva and I both love incorporating movement as well, walking, dancing, breath work, or even speaking a little bit of the light language just to assist with further embodiment. But even I, throughout our EFT, emotional freedom technique mentoring, we received an empowering download to create our own unique method and facilitation on an expansive level, which we call Krystalline Touch Medicine, which we feel for us is a sacred vibrational medicine for the soul, as we've integrated it with our multidimensional healing modalities as you touch new energetic points and stargates to really connect, activate, anchor, and embody those high frequency celestial light through your hands and through your fingers into your physical body, therefore creating that bridge of the higher frequency light into the here and the now, expanding that multidimensional consciousness.
Yes, this was one of my our favorite anchoring and embodiment practices that we share within our portal membership. And we would love to quickly share with you just a small peek of it and invite you to follow Alicia as a guided visual, and you are welcome to repeat the statements out loud or in your mind, whichever resonates for you. So what we usually do, we start at the mouth of God, and this is right at the back, sort of close to your neckline. And then what we do is we circle up over our heads all the way down. We go all the way down to the root chakra, moving in and out through our body as we tap, because what we're doing is we're tapping a harmonic wave frequency within us that ripples out and then it anchors into our body. When I first started it, I really felt the waves moving inside of my bodies. So what we're going to do is raise your hands up and ask, if embodiment were a color, what would it be? So just pick a color of embodiment of joy. What would it be? Now see this color flowing down through your fingertips and into the parts of your body as we begin to anchor it into your body. So we're going to start at the mouth of God. I am safe to allow the truth of joy into my being. I am allowing myself to receive the knowledge of information and give myself permission to make room for joy in my daily actions. I allow myself to receive the embodiment of joy. I feel, see, or sense the embodiment of joy. What does joy feel like? And then just continue. If we had longer time, you would just continue. What does joy feel like? And really anchor it in as you're tapping inside of your body. So take a deep breath in and see if you can feel this joy frequency now flowing within your body. And I invite you to bring your hands and place them on your belly and allow the color that you began with to flow through your fingertips and into your physical body and just receive it there. And from there, allow it to expand into the top of your head and then back to the tips of your fingers and toes. I know this is the short anchoring, but are you feeling that this frequency of joy is more embodied within your human body in just these couple of seconds?
Thank you, Eva. That's beautiful. So guys, let us know, because these are all like really quick things, but what we find is that the more you do them, the quicker they work. So it can be, you can reset yourself and be in your body as quickly as this last 8 minutes has taken us to do these two techniques. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be a long process. So let us know how that all felt. So Lillian said, love it and felt it. Love that. Like biting on a juicy orange. Wow, that's made me thirsty. Yeah. Excellent.
Perfect. All right. So if you want to share one of your huge or big takeaway from today, just share that in the chat as we close up here. Yes, Will says some great practices. I enjoyed it all. Thank you. So as you can see from today's shares, we're all very passionate in emphasizing the importance of embodiment. And this is what makes our Stardust Being Human series unique, as not only do we co-facilitate the soul journey of recalibration, but we include physical movement to help anchor in the recalibration. So as part of us embodying our own multidimensionality, we have been discovering our core wounds on a galactic and a soul level. And we've been developing the series as a part of our mission to accelerate that descension of your multidimensional selves into your physical reality for that continuous expansion into higher dimensions, truth, and aligning with those frequencies, essences, and the dimensional timeline of that heaven on earth or that 5D consciousness. And we've organized these series as monthly recalibration activations. And we've opened up another date again for our soul journey of releasing the core wound of slavery and manipulation. And we're inclined to offer this to a group of starseeds, light workers, conscious souls, or anyone who's desiring to stop blaming themselves for that accumulation of misaligned energy throughout their multidimensional selves and lifetimes. So I'm going to be asking you, and we're asking you, if you're ready to step into the amazing human being you came here to be and to receive and integrate the new spiritual liberation template, then we invite you to join us Saturday, November 19th for a 4-hour journey as we are divinely facilitating these together as that powerful and unique trio to offer that multidimensional restructuring and alignment, again, to accelerate the evolution of your soul and help you step more easily into the 5D timeline. So we're going to attach that link and all the details within the comments, or you can reach out to us personally, Krystalline Ascension or White Star Soul Guidance, and we'd be happy to connect with you.
Okay, just a quick message. Susie sent message above. Think it was missed. My heart is warmed. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
Jenny, the
she's got,
workshop-
yeah, if you go up, it says she felt and enjoyed all 3 beautiful embodiment magic you've shared with us all. A lot to digest, easy digestible, sometimes goes too fast and want to listen again, writing and listening, feeling at the same time. Yeah, 30 minutes, there's a lot to get through, but honestly, your body's received, your soul has received, and even without thinking, it can be as easy as that.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing your time with us. If there is anything you would enjoy for us to speak about, please put that in the chat. And we hope you you are starting to see all your multidimensional aspects too. And we invite you to keep joining us every Monday here through the Facebook Live, or come and join us on Zoom. As after we close the Facebook Live, we stay on for a bit on the Zoom and answer any further questions or insights, as it is our intention that through our sharings, you will discover your unique frequency and how valuable that truly is. If you resonated with any of these issues and want more help or support, then contact us to arrange a one-to-one where we can look at your challenges and we can design a solution just for you. And until then, we would love to continue our conversations with you in our collaborative Facebook group called Higher Consciousness Living, Stepping Boldly into the Unknown, which we will leave the link below.
So I hope you guys, like, if you do watch the replay and have questions, come and join us in the group and share, and then we can communicate with you there. So Jenny shared the workshop was so powerful, definitely recommend it. Yes, Jenny's already experienced it. So it was described as cosmic surgery, which is probably what we might have to rename it as, because like when you're guided to do this kind of work, you never know for sure how it's going to work out. And yeah, it's so divinely guided when we do this. It's amazing. I'm always shocked. So I'm glad other people are feeling the power of it too. So yeah, join us in the group and chat with us more. So until then, sorry we kept you 15 minutes longer, and it's Halloween. And Samain's going to enjoy your festivals, and we'll say bye to the live.
Bye.
Bye.